Temperatures have dropped to the low 50s in the town of Belle Glade this December Thursday, and to the average Floridian, this warrants a heavy coat and a warm beverage, but for this rail buff, it was another opportunity to catch steam in action. Early this morning, I stopped at Northwest Avenue L to catch a glimpse of this historic Florida East Coast Railway depot, but it wasn't long before I heard a crossing bell and a Nathan P3 horn in the distance. Emerging from the horizon was Clewiston's Sugar Express train with the 5th annual Toys for Tots Santa train. Every year, Santa Claus and his elves are recruited to hop aboard to help the U.S. Marines, U.S. Sugar, and the Sugar Express distribute donated gifts to children in underserved communities across Florida, and the train arrived just before 8 a.m. Today, this train would be making stops in Belle Glade, Clewiston, Moorhaven, and Lake Placid. This year, I would only follow the train as far as Clewiston. At the head of the train was U.S. Sugar Steam Locomotive number 148, carrying a restored auxiliary tender for the Sugar Express and with its tender lettered for the Santa Express. The smoke box was still painted dark gray since the April photo shoot, although the white walls on the wheels had returned, and the locomotive carried a different whistle today. It's always a joy to watch operating steam in action. Before pulling into the siding, the crew went to throw the switch at the crossing, and the 148 simmered patiently. With its 6-chime whistle blowing, the 148 and the Santa train puffed into the siding in a cloud of steam. As the train eased into the siding, it was apparent that the Sugar Express had expanded their fleet since I last ventured towards Lake Okeechobee. with a few leased cars and a new observation car. And the diesel locomotive on this train seemed to have a brand new U.S. Sugar Railroad paint scheme, adding a bit of variety to the fleet. As the 148 sat proudly at the Northwest 12th Street crossing, the eager children could hardly contain their excitement as the man of the hour appeared. With his signature jolly laugh, Santa Claus waved to the children and families of Belle Glade. And as his elves delivered the presents, Santa prepared to conduct photo shoots with the children. This gave me an opportunity to get a closer look at the train. The Sugar Express's repainted auxiliary water tender is numbered WT52 and provides extra water for the 148 over long distances, reducing the need to refill the tender. This car saw service in Georgia behind sister SNA 750 and A&WP 290. The Sugar Express's Pride and Joy engine 148 had a few subtle changes since my last trip. Aside from the Santa Express plaque on the front and the big wreath placed at the front of the smoke box, the twin beam headlight returned and the front number plate was much larger than usual, though the dark smoke box paint and headlight numbers remained. Also returning was 148's Southern Pacific 6-chime whistle built by Rizzoli Locomotive Works. As the air pump was knocking away, a drone surveyed the whole scene, so this meant I had to be careful if I wanted any drone shots. All the while, Santa's elves kept quite busy as they loaded gifts from the train into trucks for all the children who couldn't make it today. The air-operated bell on the Sugar Express was having some issues today and had to be lubricated with good old WD-40. Still wasn't as loud as it was when free swinging. As the 148 was sunbathing, the elves were almost finished with the presents, but a gingerbread man came to steal the show. And despite the heavier than usual winds, I was able to get one aerial shot from the drone. After getting my drone shot, I headed back to my car to warm up a bit, but not for long. With a rumble and the sound of a K3LA horn, South Central Florida Express's Fort Pierce turn made an appearance just before 9 a.m. This train had 6-axle power and an SD40 T-2 tunnel motor in the second position. Note the low radiator grid. As the Santa Express prepared to depart, Santa Claus climbed into the cab of the 148 to lead the way, and his elves followed suit soon after. Santa needed a lot of manpower to shovel all that, oil. Just after 9 a.m., the 148 and the Santa train began to pull out of the siding in Belle Glade, and I jumped ahead of it to South Bay. Now let's follow the Sugar Express Santa train from Belle Glade to Clewiston. As the U.S. sugarcane trains started their day, the Santa Express arrived into Clewiston after 10 a.m. to a much larger group of children and families, and it was here that I decided to take a closer look at some more new equipment for the Sugar Express. One of the newest additions to the Sugar Express fleet was car 6607, the Davidson. This is a tavern lounge observation car built for the Florida East Coast Railway, just like the 148. Built in 1939, it saw service on the Champion train from New York to Miami. USSC number 3801, formerly 404, is an EMD GP38-2 locomotive built in 1971 for the Gulf Mobile and Ohio Railroad. The 3801 was painted in the U.S. Sugar Railroad's flashy new green and yellow paint scheme, and the locomotive carried a Nathan P3 horn on the front and a Leslie RS3L horn on the rear. The Sugar Express car number 2374, the Lake Placid, appeared to be a new open-air car for the Sugar Express. Before the train left Clewiston, I decided to grab some coffee and a few more catches of this train before heading home. And with that, another exciting chase of the U.S. Sugar Santa train was done, and the train would go on to make two more successful stops at Moore Haven and Lake Placid. Once again, I'd like to thank U.S. Sugar, Sugar Express, Toys for Tots, and the U.S. Marines for their contributions to this event. While I didn't encounter any cane trains on the way home, I did manage to stumble upon this cavalcade of track maintenance vehicles at South Bay. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and may all your days be merry and bright. This is Casual Railfan, signing out.